Behind the scenes, sometimes the person taking the photos can be a bigger star than the subject, just like our next guest. For more than 35 years, Anne Geddes has been taking some of the most stunning snaps of babies the world has ever seen.
And now, after more than 3 decades of working with children, the legendary photographer is sharing the stories behind some of her most famous photos. The incredible Anne Geddes joins us now live out of New York. Hello, Anne. Lovely to see you.
Nice to be here with the snow over here and you guys with the heat.
Yeah. Well, nice and warm here, as you say. Good for taking photos. We love seeing your photos all the time. Do you have any idea how many babies you've photographed over the years?
Oh, well, I get asked that a lot, and probably hundreds. I mean, I don't really count. I haven't got an exact number, but there's a lot, you know, and a lot of them now are parents themselves, which is really wonderful.
Yes.
Oh, wow. Of course they would be. And you started as a conventional child photographer, but when did this creative side to your work start to take over? That I guess it is like the signature Anne Geddes look.
Well, I did portraiture for the first 10 years of my career, and it was really helpful in terms of, you know, just photographing children to actually, you know, now I know that how children respond at different ages. There's a huge difference between a newborn, a 6-month-old, and of course the 2-year-olds and that sort of thing. So, and I think now when I go into a shoot, I really have this quite confidence that whatever the circumstances, I will come out with something really beautiful. I shouldn't have said that now. Maybe I'm jinxing myself.
Now, you've spoken a new idea this week about some of your most famous photos, and everybody, of course, knows the Cabbage Patch babies. Talk us through this shoot.
Well, this was one of the very first images that I started to create for myself because, you know, photographing portraits for 10 years and you've got all these different ages and everything. It's hard work, you know. I mean, they're very cute and everything, but they can be hard work. And so I decided to create an image just for myself once a month. And I had to be disciplined to do it. And this image of the twins, Reese and Grant, is one of those first images. And I always joke that the way we got them to look at each other was I had my assistant lower a balloon on string down between their faces, and they turned to look at the balloon and she pulled it up really quickly.
Wow. What about the baby surrounded by pearls? This was another very memorable image.
Yes, the Paspaley family. I've got my pearls on now. You know, they have the most beautiful, beautiful pearls, and I did this up in Darwin many years ago, and Nick Paspaley told me later that there's over, way over $10 million worth of pearls there. And we did it in a little anteroom outside the safe, and right at the time of year when all the pearls are in. It's like a harvest, pearl harvest.
Wow.
And I was up in the ceiling and we were just piling pearls out of plastic bags, you know, straight from the safe. And I'd be like, oh, some more over here in the corner and some more over there. And it was just incredible. And a little baby, Adam, a little Aboriginal baby, he had the hiccups. Of course he did. And every time he hiccuped, the pearls, of course, would fall off his tummy. So, you know, I have so many stories, and there's never enough time to tell them all.
Yeah,
but I remember a lot of the shoots.
Yeah, that's a lovely story. Now, of all the photos you've taken, we hear that this one, we're going to have a look at, of Philippa with all the roses. That's one of your favourites.
Yes. Oh, look, absolutely. I think, you know, some of the most special images are where the baby gives you that little bit of magic, right? So I'm there with the camera and the baby's there. And I always say that you grab some magic out of the air when it's there, and you have to be really fast. And Philippa was in for a portrait back in my portrait days, and I talked to her mother a week before the shoot, and she had a beautiful rose garden. So I said, well, you know, bring a bunch of roses or bring a whole lot of roses. And everyone knows that these garden roses are so beautiful. And she turned up with, you know, buckets of them, and all dethorned. And yes. Philippa was sitting on, yeah, of course, Philippa was, the things you've got to do. Philippa was sitting on the carpet in my reception area, and I went in and she's just sitting there looking up at me, and she gave me this beautiful smile. And I said to her mother, "Oh my God, I love that." And she said, "Oh, I really hate it when she does that. But if you want her to do that, all you've got to do is imitate that and she will do it." Right. But it's hard to do that when you're up in the ceiling looking down through a hole with the camera in front of your face.
Yeah.
And so I was trying, and then all of a sudden she did. And it was one of those shots that just comes together so beautifully. And it was way before Photoshop and everything, so it's just absolutely real.
Oh, I remember that photo. It's gorgeous. So, as we say goodbye, you need to give some parents watching this at home some tips, because everyone has their camera phones out. They're full of shots of their babies, but maybe looking away, pulling an awkward face. What's your best tip that you could give parents to get a cute pic? Put
yourself in the image. And do you know why? Our girls were born in the 80s, and they need something to mock when they're older, your fashion, your hair and all that sort of thing. But your children, as they grow, are never going to remember how young you were when you had them. And I think that's something that's really, really important. And, from my personal point of view, I only have 3 images of myself under 2. I was born in the 50s, and a lot of reasons for that. But this is why I do what I do. And I just think that these little babies are so precious, and particularly in the world, that we're living in today, I think it's more important.
Oh, that's such a good tip.
And the other good tip is to always take the thorns out of the roses before you lay the baby down, I suppose.
Yes, another good one.
Lovely to talk to you, Anne, as always.
Thank you.
Thanks
but that's
so much.
such a good tip, because as parents, we're like, oh, I'm not dressed up, oh, I haven't got my makeup on.
Absolutely.
Just hop in the photos at least.
Be yourself.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
absolutely.
Yes.
All right.
Thanks, Anne. Lovely to talk to you.
You can read more about Anne Geddes in this week's new idea, and that is out right now.